Okay, here we are back again for another installment of GT185 restoration on a budget. And if you've been following along, you'll know in the last video I managed to get the generator back on and got it fired up again. Got a few things done here and there, and this time round I've been promising to do it, but this front end I'm really going to have a go at getting this done this time. For some reason I've just been skirting around that and getting all the other bits and pieces done, but I think it's just about time I had a good crack at this and get it on both its wheels. Right, so I got the front wheel here, got my bits and pieces laid out. Well, they're sort of partly assembled at the moment. I'll get back to that in a sec. But I've got my disc here. I've cleaned it up, put a bit of paint on there, got all my nuts ready. Got all my bolts ready. We'll try that. So these aren't fastened on and bent over yet, although I will nip this up, but I won't bend those over because I want to disassemble all this at some point and do the rim and the spokes. So I've got my axle assembly here. Got all the bits sort of mocked up there. These bits I've cleaned up, polished. My old favourite chrome paint. That was grey, but I think it's one of the things that looks better with it on. This end's all polished, clear lacquered. I ordered this front wheel nut. It's a stainless nut. It looks a little dull, but well, it's okay. So that's all ready to go. I've got the seal here. I think it's this side it goes in, but I'll just check that in the book in a second. But I've got the bearings, one on each side. I've got those in the freezer to shrink them down, so that's all ready for me to just pop them in, and the seal will go in after it, and that's pretty much the front wheel assembled. So we'll just check here. Here's our speedo drive. We've got a bearing there. We've got the other bearing and the seal, so it goes on this side. Right, so during the last little period I picked up this sort of generic seal installation tool. So, well, seal and bearing I'm assuming. So that's sort of, all those slip over the handle there. So I'll be able to use that to tap that bearing in and that seal. Right, nice cold bearing out of the freezer. Almost drops straight in. I'm going to have to take this nut off because it's not going to sit flush. So time. Right, just put a little bit of oil around here so it doesn't bind on the way in. Right, let's get this other side in. So we're going to need that. Okay. So that actually goes like that. Oh, look at that powder coming out. So unfortunately I've come up against a bit of a snag which I didn't really anticipate, but I can't avoid it now. Put some new bolts in here, and I noticed when I was tightening it up, this thread wasn't feeling very good. You know, you get that feeling when you're tightening it and it just doesn't feel like it's tightening properly. You take it out and you've got little bits of thread on there. Well, I guess I've gone through this whole engine build without encountering a bad thread, so I think these exhaust ports are notorious for it, so I guess that's just how it goes. So I'm going to have a go at drilling this out and tapping it and putting a helicoil insert in there. So something that's arrived recently is this kit, and here's all the sizes that it does. So I think this is ours here, but I'll confirm that. So in the kit you've got the drill to take it out to the new size, the helicoil tap size, the actual inserts themselves, insertion tool, tang breaking off tool, and that is to set that collar, to set the depth. Okay, so here's our bolt, and you'll see bits of thread. Yeah, it's the last thing you want to be seeing. Yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, that's a beauty. Right, match the size up here. So this one's 8 by 1.25 pitch. Lovely. Don't like business session. Looks like it's going there. So that's it from the front. It's fairly well aligned there. And that looks good enough. It tightens up really good now. Okay, so with the wind ripping in the background, in case you're wondering what all that racket is, I've got all my fork bits laid out here. You'll see the fork bottoms I've had a bit of a polish off, so they're looking pretty good. All my washers and nuts, these are stainless, so I didn't have to clean those. Brand new seals and dust boots waiting. You would have seen in a previous video me cleaning up these fork pipes. What are they called? 5 fork pipe. Okay, that's what they're called. So these bottom section here, that was blocked, completely clogged with gunk. All sorts of stuff in there as well. These are the securing screws for here. And I've got some new sealing washers for those. So I think I'm ready to start assembling. Right, so I've managed to get those seals in, and you can see there's a little recess in there. Can you see it? Anyway, you can't take my word for it, because this little circuit snap ring has to go in there just to make sure that's retained. So I'll get that in now. Okay, so they're finally assembled. It's taken me a long time to get to here with these things. I guess perhaps a little bit of hesitation at the unknown. I have said before I've never done forks before, so there we go. There's my first set and ready to put on. Okay, so the next job we're looking to do is take this steering head apart again, get the ball bearing race out and replace it with the taper bearing set that I got. So once that's done, then we'll be able to get the forks installed. The headlight will all go in here, the assembly, all of this will be able to get tucked away, and front wheel will be able to go on. Okay, so here's our kit, and inside everyone needs a sticker. Okay, so it looks as if we've got upper and lower seals, two bearings, big and small, so we'll see where they go when we get ready to put it back together. And some washers of some kind. There's no instructions on how it actually assembles, so we're just going to have to work out where things go when the time comes. Okay, to be fair, it does have assistance for installation guide, and it gives you a web address. So maybe I was a bit quick to say there's no installation guide, because there is. Okay, so this is straight out of the freezer, and we'll see if we can tap that in there. Okay, so that actually went in a lot easier than I thought. Nice and smooth. It's just a little, not bindy, but resistance, I guess you could say. But it's just smooth and sort of linear, whereas the ball bearings felt a little bit kind of notchy as it was going around. So I am glad that I did replace that. I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up, but you can see the line in there. That's actually really kind of rough and graunchy. As my nail runs through it, it's constantly catching on it. You can see that a little bit better there. So that was the top race, outer, inner it was, went down. So that's going to be a big improvement. So now I'm going to have a go at getting all this other stuff together. So we'll just see how we get on, because it's been a long time since I took this apart. So you remember I had to paint this, so one of the things that I didn't want to happen was to scratch it up and make it look really crap when it's going up through here. But I actually jammed a screwdriver into there earlier to open it up a bit, just to give it a bit more of a fighting chance. So I'm going to say that's roughly it there. A little up. So I did actually miss a part while I was putting those forks on. This is it here. It goes on there. So anyone who's done this before would be yelling at me, telling me I've missed out something. But all this stuff here is a bit of a jigsaw, so I'll take a bit of time and see if I can get it put together properly. Okay, well that took some doing, but I think I've got it right. So we're all together here. Triple clamps are back on. Turns nice and smooth with just a little bit of resistance. Headlight bucket is on with all the wiring stuffed in there. Most of it's connected except for the turn switch, etc. The headlight itself. These lights, these are for indicators. I think everything's routed pretty good. And they're on. I can't believe it. The forks are actually on. And boy, does it make it look different. So I'm going to just keep on hitting on it. I'm going to get the front mudguard in and the front wheel. technical difficulties here. Okay, so the front wheel is finally on. I had to readjust the height of the whole bike because between here and here I just couldn't get the wheel in. There's just not enough room. So that all came up and in it went. And while I was there, the people that know better than me would notice that I had this little bit, pretty much the mudguard was the wrong way around. My thinking was these two little holes here were for a mudguard that hung off here. But I was wrong. That's how it goes. Because there's a cable, goes down here to the speedo drive, routes up through here and up to the speedo. So at the moment I've got the handlebars off, got the fork caps off, and I'll put a bit of oil in there. So once again, reference to my favourite book, and I've shown this before, capacity 125 cc's at 1030 weight SAE. So I have got this 1030. From my understanding, it pretty much takes light engine oil, and that would kind of fit with the era and the type of suspension. So that's going to go in and we'll see how it works out. The ferrule's right. Looks like it's working to me. Okay, I might call that a wrap for this time round. And I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. That front end has just been absent for such a long time, and I'm really chuffed that I've finally knocked it on the head. So what's more to do? Well, we got the whole front brakes, the master cylinder and caliper to rebuild. Got a chain to put on. Of course, there's the tank. Ooh, what else have we got? Switch gear for on here. That's a small job. My biggest problem at the moment, you may have noticed, to get the red in the lettering. Like I've put red in there and then I wiped it off, and it takes the black paint off too. So it's only rattle can paint, so chances are it's dissolving it. But I'm yet to nut out a way to do that. So that's kind of why that side isn't on yet. Once I've got that worked out, that can go straight on, and then I can hook the clutch up as well. So anyone got any good ideas? Drop me a comment on how best to do that. Until then, hope you've enjoyed the video. I've actually really enjoyed this one, just for the progress, and it is truly a roller now. So I'll catch you all next time round. Until then, see you later.